Hi everyone, welcome into another episode of Matt Sports Talk, and in this video we are going to be recapping all the games from yesterday, and there were some major upsets yesterday, so we are going to, I guess March Madness has come a little bit early, that is for sure, so we're going to dive into all of that here in this video. And again, we're just recapping the men's side of things. And real quick before we jump in, if you are not subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and click the subscribe button down below so you are first notified whenever I upload new episodes. I truly appreciate any feedback that you may provide me. And for those of you that are already subscribed to my channel, thank you so much for doing so. I really appreciate that. And my goal is to hit 500 subscribers by the end of December, so make sure that you subscribe down below. So we're looking now at the men's side of things now, but the updated RPIs and the ARCs are going to come out tomorrow, so I'll be recording a video then going over all of that. And then the quad records are going to come out on Tuesday, and I'll be recording a video then as well going over those updated numbers. So again, make sure that you stay tuned for all of that. So the first matchup yesterday takes us to Spring Arbor, Michigan, where Spring Arbor hosted Mount Vernon Nazarene, and Mount Vernon Nazarene beat them by 2 points the first go-around after having a double-digit lead. This time around, Spring Arbor does return the favor and pick up the win here. 83-71 the final score, and for Mount Vernon, they have not won a game since losing their star player Isaiah Brown due to injury. So obviously, we hope and pray that he gets back fully healthy soon and that MVNU will be able to pick up a win, that is for sure. So looking at the stats for MVNU, they were led really by Trent Koenig, 20 points, 6 of 12 shooting. He was the perfect 6-6 of a charity stripe, though. He had 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals. 10 points for Peyton Heiss. He had 9 rebounds and 3 assists along with that. 9 points for Reed Plattfoot, and he had 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, and 4 blocks, though, so really good to see that. And then 10 points for Devin Dreyer. Now, 8 of the 10 were at the free throw line, though. He also had 5 rebounds. And then you had 3 points for Abib with 1 rebound. And then off the bench, Bryce Snell, 2 of 4 shooting, 2 of 2 at the line, 6 points for him, and 4 steals, though. So really good numbers there. And then a pair of points for B.D. Laurie, and both were at the free throw line, though. He also had 1 rebound plus an assist. And then you had only 2 points for Drew Koenig in 1 minute of action. That was at the free throw line, though. And then you had Grant Burkholder in 9 minutes of action with 3 assists. Junior Cam Bamba getting some playing time this year. 2 points for him in just 2 minutes of action with a steal. And then 7 points for Kieran Granville. 3 of 3 at the line, though. 3 rebounds plus a steal and a block. And MVNU struggled shooting at just 36. Really struggled from 3 at 25. The one bright spot, they were really good at the free throw line, converting 27 out of 29 for 93%. They did have 19 turnovers, though, so that was kind of a downside for them, compared to only 16 turnovers for Spring Arbor. Now, for Spring Arbor, they shot way better from the field at 52, better from 3 at 38, and they actually were pretty much equally as good at the free throw line, converting 5 out of 6 for 83%. And they were led by Travis Grayson with 27 points, 11 of 15 shooting, 4 of 4 at the line, 3 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 steals. 5 points for David Cundiff, but he had 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 4 rebounds, though. Only 3 points for Shane Reisky with a rebound. 2 points for Brandon Trilly with 3 rebounds plus an assist. And Dante Favor really lit it up as well for the home team Cougars. 23 points, 10 of 13 shooting, 2 of 2 from beyond the arc, 1 of 1 at the line, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks. Really good numbers there. And then off the bench, in 2 minutes of action, you had Cam Radecker in 2 minutes of action, did not have any statistics. Warwick Elder, 2 points off the bench with 2 assists and 1 rebound. 3 points for Eli White with a steal plus a rebound. You also had Trace Mahler in 1 minute of action, no statistics. Aiden Zank, 6 points off the bench, 2 of 6 shooting, 2 of 5 of that was from downtown. He also had 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. 9 points for Ty Reisky off 4 of 5 shooting, I might add. It's really good numbers there. 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, and 1 block, though. And then 1 minute of action, you had Jaden Nimako getting some playing time. He didn't have any statistics. You also had Colt Nelson, 1 minute of playing time, no statistics. And Brandon King in 7 minutes of action with 3 points plus a rebound. And that was your matchup there. So the next matchup will take us to Goshen, Indiana, where the Maple Leafs face off against the Knights of Marion. And Goshen, the winners here, off of a winning bucket with 3.5 seconds left, and that was scored by Braden Allen. And for the Maple Leafs, they pick up their first league win in 4 years since the 2022/23 season. So a big congratulations to now head coach Dwight Jenrich in his first year picking up a win. And these two teams split on the season. And for the Knights, they were led by Dylan Moles, 23 points, 8 of 15 shooting, to a 5 from downtown, 5 of 5 at the line, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals. 7 points for Josiah Gustin off 3 of 5 shooting with 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. 5 points for Ron Rutland III. He had 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, and a block. Those really good balanced numbers there. You also had 13 points for Aiden Franks with 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. And then Aaron Humphrey Jr., 13 points, 6 of 11 shooting, 8 rebounds and 2 steals. Off the bench, 3 points for Joshua Renfro with 2 rebounds. You also had 4 points for Alhaji Diallo, 2 of 2 at the line, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. You had 2 points for Luke Carroll with 2 steals and 2 rebounds. And then 4 points for Luke Lindemann and 4 minutes of action, 2 of 2 shooting plus a rebound. And the Knights didn't shoot the ball bad from the field at 44. They really struggled from 3 at just 18%. Now, they were really good at the free throw line, converting 10 out of 12 for 83%. Meanwhile, for the Maple Leafs, they were equally as good from the field at 44. They were way better from 3 at 41, and pretty much identical at the free throw line, albeit by not a lot, 13 out of 18 for 72%. And for the Maple Leafs, they were led by Kevin Coda, 17 points, 5 of 10 shooting, 1 of 3 from deep, 6 at the line, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. 5 points for Braden Allen. Of course, 2 of the 5 were the game winner. He had 6 assists and 2 steals, though, and then 14 points for Marcus Northern, 4 of 7 shooting from beyond the arc. So really good numbers there. 5 rebounds plus a block for him. You also had 7 points for Kenny May, 2 of 2 at the line with 2 assists, 1 steal, and 1 rebound. And then 5 points for Jaraj Minarovec off 2 of 3 shooting with 3 assists, 2 rebounds. Off the bench, Savion Williams with 4 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists plus a steal. 11 points for Jacob Carlson off 4 of 9 shooting, 2 of 4 from deep, 3 rebounds for him. And then you had Deacon Hill on 11 minutes of action with 3 assists. You also had Caleb Thompson with 6 points with 2 assists and 1 rebound. And then you had Joshua Gentry, 6 points in 6 minutes off 3 of 3 shooting with 1 steal and 1 rebound. And that was your matchup there. And then the next matchup will take us to Upland, Indiana, where number 24 Taylor hosted number 10 Bethel, and the Trojans converted for an old-fashioned three-point play with 10 seconds left. Bethel went down the court and scored the game-winning three-pointer by Luke McBride with 3 seconds left, so Bethel avoids the upset here, 78-75, a really good game here. And of course, these two teams split on the year as Taylor beat them. I believe Taylor beat them the first time they played. I'm going to have to double-check that. But the Bethel prevailing here, 21 points for Austin Kripe, 7 of 13 shooting, 3 of 6 from deep, and he was 4 of 4 at the line with 5 rebounds, 2 assists, though. 15 points for Luke McBride, and of course, 3 of those were the game-winning three-pointer. 2 of 5 from deep, 3 of 5 at the line, 4 assists, 4 steals, 3 rebounds. You had 12 points for Colin Comer, 2 of 5 from deep, 5 of 10 shooting with 2 steals, 1 block, 4 rebounds. 7 points for Bo Jacque with 11 rebounds. Really good to see that. 2 of 3 shooting for him. He also had an assist and a steal. 8 points for Alonis Basilius off 4 of 9 shooting. He had 10 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block to go along with that. And then you had off the bench Jameer Jefferson with 4 points. That was all at the free throw line, though. He had 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. 9 points for Carter Kent, all 4 of 8 shooting in 60 minutes of action with a steal plus a rebound. You also had Andrew Hedrick in 9 minutes of action with 2 points and 1 assist, and then 5 minutes of action, Alex Ellenson, no statistics. Bethel shot 45 from the field, 36 from 3. Really struggled at the free throw line, converting 15 out of 24 for 62%. The Trojans, though, shot better from the field at 48, way better from 3 at 40, and they were worse at the free throw line, converting 12 out of 21 for just 57. And looking at stats for the Trojans, 14 points for Nate Paulberg, 5 of 5 shooting, 3 of 3 from beyond the arc, 1 of 1 at the line, so he did not miss any shots at all, so a big congratulations to him. You also had 10 points for Pete Combs, 3 of 6 shooting, 1 of 1 from deep, 3 of 5 at the line, 3 rebounds plus 2 assists, 5 points for Carson Gold. He had three assists, 2 steals, 1 rebound as well. 8 points for Anthony McGee. He had 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. 14 points for Isaiah Day. 4 of 11 shooting, 3 of 9 from deep, 3 of 4 at the line. He had 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, 1 blocks. Really, really good balanced numbers there. And then off the bench, you had 7 points for TJ Davidson off 2 of 3 shooting, 1 of 2 from deep, 2 of 2 at the line, 2 steals plus a rebound. 3 points for Ano Wogar with an assist and a block. You had 4 points for Levin Smith, 2 of 4 shooting. He had 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, though. So really, really good to see that. And then 10 points for Nathan Baker, 4 of 7 shooting with 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. And that was your matchup there. And the next matchup will take us to Huntington, Indiana, where number 1 Grace, 21-0, faced off against receiving votes Huntington. Huntington prevailing here in a huge upset. This was the biggest upset, or one of the biggest upsets. I think the biggest upset of the day. 72-65, the Foresters prevailing here, handing the Lancers their very first loss of this season. And this was the second time in 3 years that the Foresters have upset the top-seeded Lancers. They upset them 2 years ago in Winona Lake, which was, at the time, Grace's first loss of the season then as well. So, man, what a win for the Foresters here. And it was just a crazy game. Like, I watched the last 6 minutes of regulation and all of overtime. And then for the Lancers shot their worst shooting numbers on the year. And not just that, they were held to their lowest offensive production scoring numbers all season, held to just 65 points. But one bright spot for the Lancers was Ian Rouse had 19 points, 3 of 5 at the line. He struggled shooting from the floor, but he had 7 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal, though. 11 points for Hunter Walston and 10 rebounds, so he had a double-double. 5 of 11 shooting for him. He did foul out late in regulation, so that kind of was a down spot for the Lancers. Only 2 points for Tyler Rouse, but he had 4 rebounds, though. Only 1 point for Grady Carpenter. That was at the free throw line. 4 rebounds, 1 assist. 14 points for Gage Sefton. 4 of 8 shooting. 5 of 5 at the line. 6 rebounds, 2 assists for him. And off the bench, 9 points for Michael Wellman. 3 of 7 shooting, 2 of 5 from deep. He had 3 steals, 1 rebound, 1 assist. 4 points for Cannon Hauser. He had 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal as well. And then 5 points for Gavin Benton. 3 of those 5 were at the free throw line, though. He had 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, and a block to go along with that. And then in 5 minutes of action, Caleb Harrell did not score, but he did have 1 block and 2 rebounds, though. And the Lancers shot just 36% from the field, 19 from deep. Now, another bright spot, they were decent at the free throw line, converting 13 out of 17 for 76%. Meanwhile, for the Foresters shot slightly better from the field, albeit by not a lot, at 39. They were way better from 3 at 37, and they were way worse at the free throw line, converting 14 out of 26 for just 53%. Now, the Foresters did have several bright spots, one of which was Caden Johnson, 19 points, 13 rebounds, another double-double for him. He was 8 of 13 shooting with 2 assists, and then only 2 points for Keelane Lassisi, and both points were at the free throw line, though. He had 6 rebounds plus a steal. And then Miles Good, 14 points for him. Now, 8 of the 14 were at the free throw line, though. 6 rebounds and 2 assists plus a steal. 8 points for Cade Brenner with 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 steals. And then 12 points for Jackson Paul, 5 of 13 shooting. He had 8 assists, 3 rebounds, and a steal. And then off the bench, Matthew Spears with 2 points in 4 minutes of action with 3 rebounds. And the big one was Landon Beagle, 15 points off the bench, 3 steals, 5 rebounds, 5 of 7 shooting, and all of that was from beyond the arc. And he had 2 monster threes in overtime that pretty much iced the game for the Foresters. And so Landon Beagle came up huge, and he had a big shot against Indiana Wesleyan the first time they played the Wildcats back in December in Platt Arena. So, man, in late-game situations, I think you want to have the ball into the hands of Landon Beagle if you're the Foresters. That's for sure. And that was your matchup there. And then the final matchup takes us to Fort Wayne, Indiana, where number 5 Indiana Wesleyan faced off against St. Francis, and Indiana Wesleyan, the winners here, with the season sweep of the Cougars out of Fort Wayne. This is the first time in 2 years since the 23/24 season that the Wildcats have swept the Cougars in a season. And then looking at the stats for the Wildcats, they shot really, really well. 58 from the field, which was a season high, 43 from deep, decent at the free throw line, converting 16 out of 22 for 72%. They had 13 turnovers, and the Cougars had 12, so pretty even there. And looking at the stats for the Wildcats, you had Caden Bontrager, 26 points, 11 of 16 shooting, 4-7 at the line. He had 7 rebounds, 4 assists, plus a steal and 2 blocks, though. It's really, really good to see that. You had 14 points for Julius Gizzi, 5 of 9 shooting, 4-4 at the line, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. 11 points for Millen McCartney, all 4 of 6 shooting, 3 of 4 from beyond the arc, 4 rebounds for him. And then you had 10 points for DJ Moore. Now 8 of 10 were at the free throw line, though. He had 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, on a block. And then 12 points for Jake Smith, 5 of 5 shooting, 2 of 2 at the line, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. And then off the bench, Isaac Andrews, only 3 points, but he had 1 steal and 1 rebound, though. And then Noah Reed got some playing time in the last 20 seconds, no statistics. Crew Gibson only played 5 minutes, did not score, but he had 1 assist, though. And then Marcus Ankney with 5 points, he also had 3 rebounds plus an assist. And then Kevin Sakis with 6 points, 3 of 4 shooting with 5 rebounds. And then looking up stats for St. Francis, they didn't shoot the ball bad either. 42 from the field, 45 from 3, and slightly better at the free throw line, albeit by not a lot, at 76%, converting 10 out of 13. And they had some really good bright spots. Eugene Young Jr., 19 points, 7 of 11 shooting, 5 of 8 from deep. He had 5 rebounds. Only 3 points from Malachi King, but he had 6 rebounds and 2 assists, though. 8 points for Javon Lewis. Now, 4 of the 8 were at the free throw line, though. He had 5 steals and 1 assist. Really, really good to see that. 6 points for Braden Messenger, all 2 of 4 shooting, which was all from deep. 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 steal. 5 points for Joe Reedy with 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. And then off the bench, Mara Vance with 14 points, 3 of 3 at the line. He had 4 assists, 3 steals, and 2 rebounds as well. And then 18 points for Carson Rogers, 8 of 13 shooting, 9 rebounds, and 2 assists. And that was your matchup there. And that concludes recapping all the games from the men's side of things. And the previewing games on Wednesday, you'll have Mount Vernon Nazarene at Marion. You'll have Taylor at Goshen. You'll have St. Francis at number 10 Bethel. You'll have Spring Arbor at number 1 Grace. And then America's Game of the Week, you'll have Receiving Votes Huntington at number 5 Indiana Wesleyan. So that is going to be a really, really good game. And with 6 games to go, looking at the updated standings, in terms of just conference games only, Grace still the 1 seed at 11-1. Bethel and Indiana Wesleyan 2 games behind at 9-3. Huntington and Taylor 1 game behind Bethel and Iwu, both at 8-4 respectively. So Grace the 1 seed, Bethel and Iwu tied for the 2 and the 3. Huntington and Taylor tied for the 4 and the 5. Spring Arbor solely the 6 seed at 5-7. Mount Vernon Nazarene now solely the 7 seed at 4-8, and St. Francis solely the 8 seed at 3-9. So it's a pretty tight race down towards the bottom, and a really tight race toward the top as well. And then Marion, 1 game out of the playoff spot at 2-10 in the conference. Goshen 2 games out at 1-11. And then looking overall record, Grace 21-1, Bethel and Indiana Wesleyan 19-3, Huntington 17-5, Taylor 16-6, Spring Arbor and Mount Vernon Nazarene 12-10, St. Francis 8-13, Marion 5-17, and Goshen 8-14. So that is an updated view of all of that. So if you did enjoy this video, please either like, comment, or subscribe. Any one of those options helps me out greatly, and I truly appreciate any feedback that you may provide me. So thanks so much for tuning in to this video, and I will see you momentarily recapping the games on the women's side of things, which that is going to be another great video as well, because there were tons of upsets on the women's side as well yesterday. So thanks again for tuning into this video, and I will see you momentarily with the women's video. God bless.